Greetings, beloved beings of light. Hope your day is most beautiful and blessed. I have a very different video for you today, something new I'm going to test out. Like I told you all in a most recent video, one of our recent teachings, I'm going to be trying some new things to try and get more people to our work and our channel. YouTube has been heavily suppressing us. It's still getting worse with the shadow banning and lowering our monetization. So I'm going to try some new things. If YouTube shuts down our channel or demonetizes us, I want to let you all know. You'll find us on whitegoldeagle.com on Patreon. I'll keep doing the daily transmissions there if something happens here. So we'll see what happens. We'll do our best. You know, these massive energies are coming in. So a lot of changes, a lot of good changes are coming, a lot of intense feelings and energies. So this is going to be a very different, a special video for all of you to pay it forward for all of those out there, all of you that have supported myself, my sacred condor and I in our work over the years. This is going to be a little something special about the great wealth transfer and how you can prepare yourself for it. And I have a very special PowerPoint that my sacred condor and I worked on. She helped me create a PowerPoint presentation for this great wealth transfer. It'll be on Patreon and my website. I'll put the links in the description below. So on Patreon, it'll be streaming. You can stream it through video, and that'll be $13.13. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. I haven't totally edited it yet, so we'll see. And then it's a little cheaper, save a couple dollars on my website, meetaguru.com. We'll put it there. It'll be $11.11. I pay monthly there, so it's a less of a percentage of the sale, and Patreon takes a percentage. So that's why we charge a little more on Patreon than on my website. So you can check it out there. It's how to prepare. It's teaching of several ways. Many of you out there are, part of our humanitarian team and are preparing. So for those of you that don't know anything about this, or if you want to learn more about the great transfer of wealth through the GCR, the RV, revaluation of currency, if you're doing the currency, gold, silver, if you might be investing in crypto. Today, it's going to focus mostly on crypto. I've been working with the team over the last couple of years. So right off the bat, if you don't want to learn about these things, you hate money, you feel money is the root of all evil, this is not the video for you. So you can stop it now. If you want to learn how to build generational wealth, if you want to free your family from these debt slavery systems, then continue watching, and thank you for supporting us. So I know this isn't for everyone. This is something new. You see, I'm a grand earth trine, so I need tangible things, and I teach tangible things. I know most of you that come to this channel, if you're on Paul White Gold Eagle, it's for the spiritual transmissions, the teachings, the metaphysical stuff. But many of you have contacted me and have been in communication over the years that are part of this wealth transfer and, Nasara, Jasara, these things. So I want to put out something and see what kind of results I can get and see where you're at. And, so leave a comment below if you're part of the humanitarian through the Zim, if you're, investing in foreign currencies like the dinar, the Iraqi dinar, or gold, silver, or XRP. This video is going to mostly focus on XRP and cryptocurrency to educate you on what is going to be running the whole quantum financial system for all of you. So let us know in the comments if you're involved in any of these things. Don't put how much you invested, all these things. Just say that you're part of this great wealth transfer in the humanitarian efforts. That many people, many of our people are waiting for this shift. We're in the process. We're right at the precipice here. This is part of the great awakening and the shift to the new golden age. And then eventually money's not even going to exist. But I'm going to explain a few things that this transition that we're going through, this great shift in consciousness, which I talk about every day in my daily transmissions, with our New Earth scribes. And yesterday, if you listen to last night, Carolyn God Code 144 talked about this week is very powerful for this, for wealth, for money. Now I've taught and I teach, on Patreon and through this channel, health and wellness too. You see, because part of our wealth, part of our abundance, you see, the new earth is, all of our people, all of our good people that live from their heart, living in abundance. Now, of course, our health is way more important than wealth, as far as money. Money is energy. So if you have a problem with money, or you feel like money's evil, just realize that money itself, currency, is just energy. It's neutral. And what we do with money is good and evil. It's either good or evil, benevolent or nefarious. You see, many people, have come up with this concept that money's evil because of all the negative things, all the nefarious things that these elites, that these Illuminati, these negative beings, these families have done to humanity over the years with their money. But there's also many good people, which some of our benevolent entities, beings in our Earth Alliance that continue to help support me in our mission of planetary liberation, are using funds and finances to help me and to help many of you out there to continue awakening humanity. This is part of the Great Awakening, waking humanity up to the matrix, nefarious systems, these cycles of suffering, these cycles of karma, samsara. You see, I teach the way of the Buddha, of the Tao, of all spiritual practices around this realm, and how to free your body, your mind, your spirit from these time loops, these archonic time loops and these cycles of suffering. In Buddhism and Hinduism and Sanskrit, we say samsara, which is the wheel of birth and death, of falling asleep, time and time, these time loops repeating, these programs of suffering, these simulations of suffering. We're here to transform this realm into the paradise that Mother Earth has always evolved to be. And we're right at this precipice, and we're still in this, this chaotic node as we're shifting day by day, moment by moment into the new earth. So I don't want to make this very long. I'm going to get right to it. But again, the links are below to my full teaching, my PowerPoint presentation on preparing for the greatest transfer of wealth. So let me know if you want me to make more videos like this one and keep teaching these different concepts. And we'll see what we do. This might be the only video I put out on this topic. I've been wanting to put this out for a couple of years, but these crypto markets have been so volatile, and I've been learning, I've spent hundreds of hours, learning these systems and the proper way to invest in these things and whatnot, and working with my people. My nephew, Max, he's an expert on this stuff, so he's taught me a lot. He's in his early 20s. I've talked about him in the past. He just recently got his master's in criminal justice from Tiffin University in Ohio. And he was on the dean's list every semester of his whole, I think he did 4 years there. And about a year or two ago, he's the one that had the twins that were prematurely born, and his daughter passed away on the first day. His son's doing really good. Thank you all for your prayers. His son Simon has had multiple surgeries. He had a huge tumor on his heart. They were able to remove it, and he's like over a year old, and he's had 10 surgeries and that, and he's doing really well, and his other son's doing really great. So and my nephew Max, he's a gentle giant. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He was 6'5", 300 at 16 years old. He made me look tiny. I'm 6'4", 180 pounds. He was like a linebacker in football and high school. He made all the kids look tiny. He looked like an adult at 16 years old. He was 6'5", 300 pounds. He's the sweetest angel, one of our sweetest angels in this realm. And he hurt his knee. Like every college in the country wanted him on their football team, because he was so massive. And but he hurt his knee, as a senior in high school playing football, really bad, and blew out his back too. So he was done. And he said he just, he could have got scholarships, but he got grants and, student loans and all these things, But he interned for the Secret Service a couple of years ago in Washington, D.C. And on the first day, he spent 8 hours with him. The Secret Service agents that he interned with. After the first day they spent with him, he's a very special guy, a heart of gold. He's my nephew, my sister Victoria's son, one of her 3 sons. As some of you know, her son James passed away, my baby boy, several years ago. But after 8 hours of my nephew, Max, just feeling into the energy here. Let me show you a picture of my boy here, James Patrick. My sister gave birth to him at 15 years old. He was an angel. I was 12. He was born November 15th, 1985. Passed May 17th, 2014. It was a great tragedy. And I connect with him in 5D. He's there right now waiting for us, for this shift. So, but we'll jump, and this is Zoe. She's also on the other side. Our baby girl, Zoe, German Shepherd. She was very special. She lived about 15 years. She's with James in 5D heaven. But so Max, my nephew, he after 8 hours with the Secret Service, they say go back. He had his bachelor's in criminal justice. They say go back, get your master's. The day you get your master's, you're hired in the Secret Service. But so much has changed since then, and with his son and all the surgeries and the Secret Service. I don't know if you know, there's only 3 places in the country you can live, so it's very limited if you're in the Secret Service. So he decided he's actually going to start out as a cop and maybe go in the FBI or something. So right now he's taking all the tests and stuff, but he's an expert on this crypto. He taught me a lot of this stuff and about cold storage and some of the different cryptos to get into. And we always only invest what you can afford to lose, because you just never know what the future holds. But based on our research and everything that we're seeing and this great shift of wealth, we got it nailed down pretty good. So real quick before I continue, I'm just going to real quick review XRP and Ripple. The SEC just ended there's been a lawsuit against Ripple. Ripple's the main company promoting XRP as the cryptocurrency. It's in the top. It's the 3rd most in market cap, the highest market cap, which means the value of the crypto and what's in circulation. And Bitcoin, as you all know, is number 1. So real quick, let me just jump on here for a disclaimer. I got to put this out for, so I don't get taken down or sued by the SEC or one of these other nefarious three-letter organizations in Washington. So disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor or planner, even though I know more than most advisors or planners at this point. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. What I or others say in my videos are of our own opinions and should never be used as financial advice. Wink, wink. Please do your own research and seek professional advice if you need to. See, I put this at Investing 101. See, this is part of the PowerPoint that's on Patreon on my website, Meet a Guru. My Sacred Connor created this beautiful PowerPoint. She's very good at this stuff. She is a teacher. She homeschools our 3 children, 13, 14, and 16 years old kids, her children. Investing 101, only invest what you can afford to lose. You just never know. Nothing's guaranteed. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, diversify. But, my advice, my opinion is that if you only had enough, even $10 to invest, do it in XRP. Buy low, sell high. That's number 1. This is 101, but most people, they do not follow these rules. A lot of times they buy high and then sell when it drops and lose money. It doesn't make sense. That's not investing. That's insanity. So we're going to jump over to a coin market cap. This is shows you the market cap of all cryptocurrencies. There's something like 3,000 now. I don't even know. Can't keep up with that. Oh, well, 9,000 now. There are new ones coming out every day, So these are the top 5 here. Bitcoin, obviously, number 1, 118,000. So I know, a lot of people, this is a scam, this and that, we know that XRP is built, based on, the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, who's a benevolent being. You can watch some of his videos and feel into his energy. If you have any doubt about this, you'll know. So that right now, today, August 11th, 2025, XRP is at $3.16. I've been purchasing over the last couple years, starting when it was 33 cents. So it's gone from, I think, 33 cents to $3.16 in the last couple of years. So that's what, 200x or something, 100x, 100 times. Bitcoin, 118,000 today. Too bad we didn't get into that when it was 30 cents, so we're working towards, all of this I'm doing is to buy a home for my sacred condor and our 3 children, because we have a major housing crisis. Where we live, houses start at $400,000. So in the last 5 years that I've lived here in the Pacific Northwest, I've paid my landlords over $100,000 in rent, and they're jacking it up even more. Right now I'm at $1,750. I just got a letter a couple of days ago. In a few months, when our lease is up, they're jacking up $100. So I got to get out of here. I'm moving. It's a 3-bedroom apartment in the Pacific Northwest. Many, all of us in Washington and most of the West Coast are in the same boat. So I mean, $100,000 would be a nice down payment on, a $500,000 home. But the payments would still be $3,000 a month. So it's insane. So I'm going to do another video on the housing market crisis and this bubble. We're in the biggest bubble ever, and it's about to burst. We know that, because this scam system, which I'm going to expose, I've exposed for many years, these Babylonian debt slavery systems and BlackRock and Vanguard that are buying up, since the 2008 bubble burst, all these single family homes, which we may start a company to take down that, to create a law where these corporations cannot buy single family homes. It's insane. They were buying houses pennies on the dollar, but I'm not going to rant about that right now. It's just, the frustration of trying to buy a home over the last 5 years. And it's very close. A couple of years ago, I was going to buy a manufactured home, but it fell through in the last minute. So whatever, we're going to work it out. And we know this wealth transfer, we're right on the precipice. So in my family, I believe it's everyone's birthright to at least have a home, a nice home and yard for your family and garden and all these things, so it's coming. The golden age is here. We're just still, navigating through these final energies until the benevolence is fully, bestowed upon, all of God's children, all of, Gaia and all of her children of the sun, which are good people of the new earth. So you can see Ethereum 4,200. Now XRP is eventually going to take over all of these, because the whole quantum financial system is going to run on the XRPL. It's the XRP ledger, XRP, and Ripple is the company they own. I think something like 60-80% of all XRP. And you can see the circulating supply, 59 billion. It seems like a lot, but it's actually very little. And that's half of the about half, a little more than half. I think 100 billion is the max circulating supply. So it is a limited supply. So when you have a limited anything, an asset of any kind, once you reach that limitation, it's just going to explode. The value of it's going to, supply and demand. So this has never happened in the history of the world. So you're going to see here over the next few months, few weeks, if you're not already investing in XRP, don't waste any time. Even if you only have $33, buy 10. Eventually, XRP was designed to be $1 million a coin, and you have to understand the what's going on here, and how all banks are going to use XRP for every international transaction. Everything in the world is going to be tokenized. Now, tokenization means that everything is going to run on the blockchain. Each currency, and each one's going to have a part that's true currency, but XRP is going to be king. It's going to run the quantum financial system, the 5D system. Now, Ripple was named after the Grateful Dead song Ripple, Ripple in still water. It's very symbolic. That's why you're hearing a lot about the ripple and the echo, because we're freeing ourselves from these time loops. And this ripple is becoming a wave, which will become a tsunami here very soon. It's a domino effect. And what's happened, everything's being lined up. Ripple purchased a company. It was the largest acquisition in the history of crypto, 1.2 billion or something like that, a company called Hidden Road. Now that has to do with banking. Ripple filed to become a bank. They're going to be the largest bank in the world, and it's all going to run on the XRP ledger. All these transactions. One day you'll be able to just go online, buy a house for 1 XRP. It's going to be very simple, and everything's going to be tokenized, which, every financial transaction that's going to happen tokenized, meaning that it's going to be all transaction is through the blockchain. So in, I believe, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, you can already buy real estate with XRP. The value obviously at $3, you can't buy a whole lot unless if you have, tens of thousands of XRP. So, but eventually, even if you own 30, you're going to be wealthy. I don't know how long it's going to take. It could take a year, it could take 10 years, but for a $33 investment right now that potentially could turn into $1 million. I mean, it's really a no-brainer, and you don't have to believe me. You can just do your own research. There's millions of videos. I mean, XRP has been trending on X for the last couple of years, and it really took off after the last election. So, and this Genius Act is all about clarifying the legal aspects of crypto and how banks are going to use it and all these things. So it's being finalized. It's been signed. So everything is leading up to this. This tokenization. And Brad Garlinghouse has said, over the years, we've been programmed to, like get paid every, once a month, every other week, once a week, whatever. And he's like, why can't we get paid every day, for your energy, for your work, whatever you're doing? Why can't, you get paid every day, or what about every second? Every second you should be getting paid. Some people like, these elites like Bill Gates and whoever, they get paid every second. They're, they don't get a paycheck, their wealth flows in every minute here, every second of the day, making them richer and richer, while most people are struggling. So this great shift of wealth is going to shift from nefarious beings, from these elites, from these, Illuminati families into the wallets, we call it wallets, the crypto wallets, so I'm going to try to finish this up in a few minutes, but this is just my initial video, maybe the only one I do, depending on the results and how many out there are interested in these things and what you learn. So what you want to do to start off, and my PowerPoint goes into more of the crypto and more into these other assets, foreign currencies, gold and silver, and more explanation on these. So if you want to learn about that, again, the link's below. So real quick, what you want to do to start accumulating, but purchasing XRP, is jump over to coinbase.com, set up an account. It takes a few minutes, then you'll have to link up a bank account, a debit or whatever. It only takes maybe 30 minutes to get the whole thing set up, and then takes an hour or two. They put like a little deposit, so you can open up a separate bank account if you don't trust this, just to put some money into, just to get the ball rolling, start investing in this currency. So just sign up, click sign up and set it up, username, email, all those things, password. You want to do the 2-step verification with your phone, all those stuff. Years ago, and part of the reason I quit investing in crypto years ago, my Coinbase got hacked, and it took me several years to get it back up and running. And then at that time, with the cost of living skyrocketing, all these things, I could only invest a little bit. I invest as much as I can afford, which over the years, has been a little bit, but everything's taking off. So eventually what I have invested, I will be able to buy a home for my family, so it's going to be very soon, in the next few months, everything, we say moon time, the Earth Alliances flip the switch, of freedom. This is all about freedom, freedom of health, freedom of wealth, all these things. That's why I teach health is way more important than money. If you can have all the money in the world, but if you're sick or have disease, I mean, look at Steve Jobs. He had more money than he knew what to do with, but he couldn't cure himself of cancer. So, we focus on our health, body, mind, and spirit, having healthy emotions, healthy relationships, being healthy, treating your body like a sacred vessel, and doing the best we can to, that's why I teach, raise our energy. I teach Qigong. Qigong is very powerful energy work, healing work. Qigong and Neigong for emotions, Shengong spirit work, so all these things. But set up your Coinbase, and then eventually, the more you accumulate, you want to take full control of your digital assets. You want to get what's called a cold storage wallet. Don't worry about this if you're new, if all this is over your head. Let me know if this is confusing you. I've been contemplating starting an investment club on Patreon, or eventually maybe investment company with my nephew, to where we can invest crypto for other people. But I can teach, and then maybe start an investment club if enough people, it'd be a monthly fee, $50, $100, I don't know what, where we could either store for you on a cold storage, help you out, we'll see. It's something. I don't have much free time as all of you. I have no free time right now. I'm working 24/7, with the daily transmissions and all this other work and networking, all these things, and just connecting and teaching, constantly teaching and creating new videos like this and whatever, and YouTube is making it harder and harder with all their shadow banning and whatnot. So I'm at my wit's end with them. So my time may be limited on YouTube, but I plan on continuing the daily transmissions. I might shift them to a different platform or Patreon, keep them free as long as I can. So we'll see what happens over the next couple months, and hopefully these things come through. But this is one I recommend, Ledger. I use a Ledger to store. You can transfer from your Coinbase to a cold storage, and then you'd fully own the key, their keys, they're called, to all your different assets. And there are several other cryptocurrencies that are really good, like XLM here. Stellar is an amazing one. Hedera, I go over those in the PowerPoint, so check that out. So I'll also put a link below to several 3 different cold storage wallets I recommend, and my nephew recommends. He's done a ton of research, and there's several that we recommend, and I get a tiny commission if you purchase through our link. So we'd appreciate that. It'll help us continue making videos like this, and just let us know your thoughts. I don't have time to answer questions. Like if you have questions about what about XRP, what about cold storage, just go to either Google or Grok or ChatGPT. Any question that you have for me can be answered through, these Grok things, these search engine, this good software. It's not AI, I know everyone's calling AI, but anyone can call anything, anyone, and people will believe it, and I know these things, I could create AI with my people if I like real AI, a real artificial intelligence. And I know many people want to debate me on that because people they think are brilliant call these things AI, but it's just a key word, many people use, because it's a selling point, if you just study the man, the scientist that even coined the term artificial intelligence, called Turing, Dr. Turing, Turing. He created what's called a Turing test, which is how to test something like a machine, a computer, whatever. And if it's true artificial intelligence, and none have really passed the test. I know they've created these mock tests where they can claim they passed the Turing test, but none really have. And now, for those that don't know, was to the top of my field in IT. I owned an IT business 18 years, and the scamdemic destroyed it, so I had to start from scratch when I came out here to the Pacific Northwest. So I might do some videos on other platforms about that, exposing, So on that note, we're going to end this special transmission on cryptocurrency. Thank you for joining us today. Let us know what you thought of this in the comments below. What if you're investing, if you want to learn more about XRP, cryptocurrency, and other ways of preparing yourself for the great wealth transfer, please let us know in the comments. And check out my PowerPoint on Patreon. Have a most beautiful, blessed day. Thank you all very much for your support. We appreciate you all. Namaste.